Taking control of the car buying experience. Demand the most for your money. Here's the Car Buyer Advisor.
It's that time of the year to get your four-wheel drives out and maybe get towing. No better shop to talk about all of that than our next guest. Please welcome back to our show, Tom Hauptman, owner of DriveLine Gear Service. Tom, welcome back.
Thanks, Mitch.
Towing. It's the start of four-wheel drive season and towing, and there's so many components. Let's start with the basic components of a four-wheel drive system in cars and trucks this day.
The four-wheel drive systems that we work on is basically transfer cases, differentials, drive shafts, axles, clutches, manual transmissions, anything underneath the car in the drivetrain.
Now, for people that don't understand the acronyms that we just mentioned, let's talk about the items like the transfer case. What's involved in those?
The transfer case transfers power to the front differential to make it a four-wheel drive. Inside the transfer cases, there's gears and chains and forks and bearings and seals. Very, very complex unit, part of the drivetrain system.
And the drive lines themselves also complex, and what do they do?
Well, the drive shaft itself connects your transmission to the differential and makes your car go. They have slip assemblies, center bearings, U-joints, a lot of parts that wear over the year. Very, very integral to make your car go.
Well, many people may know the term axles. There's also complicated components.
Yes, axle shafts look like one solid bar of steel, but truly they have an axle bearing surface. They have splines that wear out. A lot of times we see axles bent, which cause serious vibration and eventually failure.
And then the hub assemblies that all connect that to the wheel.
Yeah, front hubs are the locking hubs. Now they have unibearings, and the wheel bearings are now unibearings. They don't have inner and outer wheel bearings anymore. So very important to keep up on the condition of those.
In the old days, you'd have to get out of your vehicle and turn the hubs. Let's talk about how they operate in a lot of the modern vehicles as opposed to the old ones.
Yeah, the old days, you used to get out in the rain and turn the hubs to lock them in. You put your transfer case in four-wheel drive and off you go. But when you got to where you're going, you had to get out in the mud and unlock them. Now everything is either automatically locked hubs, or they're an all-wheel drive system where you don't do anything, you just drive.
And how do they operate, different types of components that operate those systems?
Well, the all-wheel drive system is virtually based on a clutch or a viscous coupler, they actually sense wheel slippage in the rear, and once the vehicle or the transfer case senses the wheel slippage, it transfers power to the front wheels, making it a four-wheel drive.
And how would somebody inspect a four-wheel drive system if they were out looking to buy one or to make sure theirs is working?
Well, that's very difficult. A lot of times the steering crab that people call, you put it in four-wheel drive and you turn a real sharp figure-8 circle in the parking lot and your steering wheel actually crabs on you. That's a good way to tell, but nowadays, very, very difficult. You have idiot lights in the dash that'll tell you that if your system's working or not, but if they're unplugged or if the light's not working, you truly don't know. So sometimes in the newer, more complicated vehicles, you have to take it to a mechanic and let them diagnose it.
And that sounds like what you would want to do on the newer all-wheel drive, full-time all-wheel drive systems, because there's nothing to really engage and to inspect.
There is nothing to inspect, no sir.
Let's talk about tire sizes. I think this is probably one of the most under-discussed topics in four-wheel drives.
Yes, especially with the all-wheel drive systems, the tire diameters, tire sizes is the most critical thing to look for in any of these systems. It causes so much problems. Your vehicle actually thinks that you have two different gear ratios. You know, you got one tire going 10 miles down the road and the front tires are going 10.5 miles down the road, and all that does is create enormous amounts of heat and wear to your four-wheel drive systems.
And at DriveLine Gear Service, you not only work on all of these components on the vehicles, but let's talk about all the different things that you do there.
Well, we have a complete driveline shop that we can do anything to a drive shaft imaginable. We can shorten them, balance them, build them, race cars, boats, RVs, mining, anything. And we have a complete drivetrain shop in the back. We have 4 bays. We do transfer cases, differentials, gear ratio changes, clutches, transfer case overhauls, and we have probably the largest drivetrain parts department in northern Nevada, California.
And you just mentioned the gearing changes for our towers this season. Let's talk quick about that.
Yeah, gear ratio changes probably, again, is a real important integral part of towing. A lot of people will buy a fifth wheel or a camper, and it absolutely kills their truck. And it's not the camper that's doing it, it's not geared properly.
That's Tom Hauptman, owner of DriveLine Gear Service in Sparks. How can they get a hold of you?
In Sparks, it's 331-4500. We're at 1325 Glendale Avenue. Fallon, we have a store in Fallon, 5305 Reno Highway, 867-2617. And our website is drivelineandgear.com.
That's Tom Hauptman, DriveLine Gear. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
For more information on this guest, visit the Preferred Business page on our website, tcbatv.com.